Welcome to AVonAir, presented by Midwich. I'm your host, Joe Dunbar. We're still here at InfoComm 26 in Las Vegas. I've got a couple of the guys from Voice, Dynacord. You know what? I'm going to introduce you guys, and I almost don't want to because you both have wonderful radio voices. And I mean, certainly on that microphone,
I'll take it.
Extra.
Yeah.
I've got Joe Lorence here, product manager, right, Joe?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm product manager for our professional loudspeaker segment.
Okay,
so
specifically that division.
All the big stuff, the loud stuff, the fun stuff, in my opinion. So
yeah,
absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Rob Ferguson, director of product management. I get that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Nice.
So looking after both brands, Voice and Dynacord. So obviously Joe's holding down the pro loudspeaker space.
Yeah.
I'm also looking after our commercial loudspeakers, and then of course our Dynacord electronics brand.
Got you. A little more micro in the speakers, a little more macro on the brand.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So, I mean, really, the whole idea here is I want to give people at home a taste of what they're maybe not getting if they can't be at the show. You guys, for starters, the demo room is hopping. When I came there, I stopped by once each day, and both times it was wall-to-wall packed. They were come on in, but no seats.
Yeah, exactly. It's fill up the back wall along the sides, which is how we like it, right?
Stand where you can.
Absolutely.
But you guys, this year now, the first time, a good chunk of it is pre-recorded for you. I know you guys are still at the space and doing the work.
Sure.
That's got to be a little bit of a relief compared to last year's, just to keep things a little smoother.
It's certainly a lot more predictable.
Yeah, that's what
I know. Rob, you said we used to do live pretty much exclusively back in the day, right?
Yeah, so after the pandemic, we really wanted to make it more personable. So, or at least I did. So we started doing more live presentations. Also, the audience is a little bit smaller. But it obviously it has a toll, obviously, on us physically.
Yeah, that's after a couple of days of that, all day doing demos.
But the other thing is, we like to keep it pretty tight. So, they give us an hour to make noise, but, keeping, making that actually valuable for someone who's got a ton of things. We don't want to pack a whole hour of hard content in, and we'd like to focus on actually getting audio through the loudspeakers, making that valuable. So pre-recording it, make sure that we can keep really tight, exactly the message we want.
Yeah.
Everyone gets the exact same one. We don't run over time. We don't waste people's time.
Yeah.
So it's just become a really good way to kind of maximize they're hearing exactly what we want them to. They're getting the whole message, and we're getting them back out as fast as we
extra
can.
fatigue or anything.
Exactly. Yep. We're trying to make good use of their time if they're coming to see us.
A good mark for me at these shows, on especially on the audio side of stuff. I've been through a couple demo rooms now doing audio this week, and if I can get lost in the song when I'm doing the listening, I also all of a sudden find myself instead of thinking about wow, I'm not hearing a ton of this, or it's great high end, or the intelligibility is awesome, or whatever, I start to find myself in there just grooving to a bass line or something. I'm oh, I've lost track of where I am. And that did happen to me yesterday in the back. All of a sudden, Brandon was hey, you're being a little distracting. I was jamming. I was dancing back there. What, in the name of gear, what are you guys showing off up in the demo room? I mean, I got to see, but the folks at home didn't. What products were you showing off that we want to help tell them about?
Yeah, so it's a bit of a tour through the range. So we're starting off on the commercial side. So what do we bring commercial wise? Small stuff.
So I'm not sure if you're I'm sure you're familiar, but we've got the EVid portfolio of commercial loudspeakers.
Oh yeah.
Definitely a portfolio we've had over the years. We've also added, expanded, so it's a pretty comprehensive range of commercial loudspeakers. We've got new ceiling speakers, which we didn't show at the show.
Yeah.
But we've got pendants and then surface mount. So what we focused at the show was obviously building up to the bigger boxes, which Joe brought to the show.
Yeah.
So we started with some EVid S. To start with, so some surface mount commercial loudspeakers.
Really, I mean, the EVids are my go-to kind of speaker for over a decade now, for sure. It feels like
they're a great no-brainer. They're one of those where it's when a end user hasn't had them before, it's the easiest second sale, we like to say, because it's oh, I haven't tried it before. As soon as they get them in, they're just oh yeah, we'll copy and paste this everywhere. This is great.
Yep.
It sounds kind of exactly like what in their head they thought that space needed to sound like. So it kind of fits that perfect. So we kind of start there, yeah.
Yeah, not maybe a particular focus point for you guys, in these conversations and specifically, but I mean, well priced for what you get too. I feel like they're a great value.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a focus for the whole line. That basically we're trying to get you the absolute best loudspeaker we can for what you're going to pay for it. So
yeah, you guys for sure have nailed it across the board. But the EVid line is That's the default. You know, it's the Kleenex sort of thing. Like, it's synonymous for me.
Yeah.
Anytime I go in spaces and spot a speaker, it's like I feel like I can see an EVID. Even like in the ceiling speakers or whatever, I'm like, oh, I know that grill from over here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love the EVID lines. We're talking about the EVID lines. We brought some props.
Yeah.
As well. I know I certainly want to ask about the LRC speakers, because those have been a hit now since kind of initial launch. And I've been speccing those in a ton of House of Worship projects, as well as there was a office lobby where we actually put some in somewhat recently.
Awesome.
They've been going in a few different spaces. So I certainly want to ask about LRCs. We've got some props. What do you guys want to dive into for some speaker talk?
Yeah, let me hit LRC first, because that's kind of like where we step up to in the demo room.
Yeah.
And LRC is kind of this interesting bridge for us between, like, it gets used in tons of commercial spaces because it's priced really aggressively at that kind of thing. But it was really done by our professional speakers team, because it's kind of this bridge where it's like we needed to carry the sonic signature and the performance level of what people get as they move up into stuff like this, which I promise we'll get to in a second. Because it's a composite box and it's weatherized, you know, it kind of goes literally everywhere, right?
Yeah.
So ever from like executive boardroom to like announcements outside on a campus and everything in between. But LRC is kind of this nice bridge of like out of the commercial stuff, we step up the volume, and they look super clean. For non-loudspeaker people, we designed them to kind of be forgettable, right? Like you kind of forget, like, that's a loudspeaker. And that's kind of the whole point. And then for loudspeaker people, they get 30 feet away from it and they go, man, it sounds like it's right in front of me.
This is like the most impressive part of that.
And that's
like
the entire
intelligibility, the throw. It maintains at quite a distance.
And it's so fun in like the demo room type environment to demo that one, because that form factor is like not new to a commercial AV, right? So people have this really clear expectation of like, hey, there's this skinny box. It's about yay tall. It's going to sound, about like this. The high pass filter is going to sound like, it's like you're going to sound like a chipmunk.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
And then we play big voices through it, and we play a full band through it, and people are like looking around for the subwoofers.
Yeah.
And like they can't believe that like something that skinny has this sound to it. And so it's just a really fun box. It like defies expectations, and so it's a lot of fun to show that off. And it's sort of like, it's a little bit of a taste for like, as we get into louder stuff, it's like, it brings some of that like big, loud electro voice character into kind of that mid-range.
Big speaker energy.
Absolutely.
Is the vibe. It's so funny. Like, again, like it's so easy to get lost in those. And the first time I saw them in the demo room, they were brand new.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking like, there's got to be a subwoofer paired with these or whatever. And at that point in the demo, I remember somebody, I'm sure it was one of you guys, chiming in and be like, just so you, like, it was like, this is just this speaker or whatever. And I was like, really? Very, very full sounding. I love how they blend in. This is just a little thing. I'm all about quality of life stuff here. I think I've said that term, quality of life, 100,000 times this week. The mounts are easy to use, give you a bunch of different options in terms of kind of how you want to set them up. And I love that.
Well, my favorite conversation was a customer came in and like, so as far as like accessories that we need to order, like the weather cover and stuff. And I was like, there are no accessories. And he's like, oh, so I have to like, it has to be all custom. I'm like, no, everything's in the box. There's nothing optional.
Yeah.
You get everything every single time. And he like lit up. He was like, I don't have to remember accessories. And it's just like, it seems like this little thing, right? But like when you design from the standpoint of the guy who's going to be on site dealing with it, like all of those things like really, really add up.
They do. Quality of life, man. It just makes it so much easier. And like it's one less box to deal with on a shipping a bill of lading or whatever.
Exactly.
One less thing to have to deal with from an inventory level, all of those things. Very nice. So LRC kind of carries us into then the bigger boxes. You're saying that's like the bridge.
Yeah, so we've had a family of loudspeakers around for quite a while. Rob, you've been here longer. How long have we been making the first generation of what we just re-engineered here?
The mid-2000s.
Oh, wow.
That's how long they've been in the line. And actually, they're one of our most successful lines. Even with how long it was, I think we had one of our biggest years with the product line actually the year before we launched this.
Really?
Yeah. So that's how solid the product is. It's kind of our bread and butter, at least in the point source arena. So
yeah.
But it's wild how successful it is. But obviously, things have changed quite a bit since the mid-2000s. And obviously, we got a lot of feedback along the way. And actually, Joe had a lot of experience before he joined us as an installer, as a former EV guy in the field, and got to put his own twist on some things.
You're the guy we were talking about who like doesn't want to deal with the extra mounts, and I come from the field. I get it.
So I started I came from church AV and realized oh, people install this for a living, and went and got a job as an install tech, and I spent a bunch of years with lots of EVFs on a lift, just hating our old input panel. And so they're oh yeah, when I joined Electro Voice, we were just about to get going on a lot of the final mechanical design for stuff, and I was I get to fix all of that stuff that I cursed all of the Electro Voice people back in the day. And so we went through again from the standpoint of the guy who's going to be on site. It's how can we make their life easier? How can we make the person who's specifying it easier? How can we simplify the line to make it easier to keep it in stock? All these types of things, right? So we've got 15 years of hey, what would we have done different with this box? If we could have gone back and, bashed some heads together back in the mid-2000s, and kind of got to do all that.
Yeah, that's a lot of info to be able to carry into a redesign, an update, anything like that.
That's huge, yeah. So this is EVF, and it's one of the families that we recently launched. Exactly. So EVF G2 is kind of the whole family. It's all new transducers from us as well. So we've been a long-time transducer manufacturer. We started with a program to come up with an all-new transducer platform, woofers, compression drivers, everything. And then we have it in EVF, which is front-loaded, meaning all those things kind of fire out the front. We use the same components in EVH. H is horn-loaded. So put the same thing in a much bigger box, put a big horn in front of the woofer, and you get almost double the output out of that woofer.
Same components, different box design.
Exactly. Yep. Same amplifier draw, everything, but just a bunch more output, right? So it kind of becomes a geometry thing, right? How far are you throwing? How reverberant is the room? What do you need to do with it? So we brought this along because one of the things that we chose early on is the size and shape of the boxes was actually pretty successful. There's a whole host of install accessories that go with them. So we said, you know what, footprint, that works out pretty well. Everything other than the shape of the box, we're going to go through with an absolute fine-tooth comb.
Oh, cool.
Right. So
much fun.
So the dimensions, the dimensions is the only thing we didn't change. And that's why, if you come and visit us, you'll see all the branding is think inside the box, because we took the same box and we literally, ripped everything out of it.
Thinking inside the box in 2026 is the most out-of-the-box thing you can do.
Right.
Everyone's been thinking out of the box for as long as they can try.
Absolutely.
I love that. We're going with that. Inside the box is the new outside the box. Somebody TM that or something.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the idea. So, so we're showing these, and it's in the morning. I'm blanking. Which models do we have total in the demo room? We've got
the EVF 12.
Yep.
We've got the EVF 15. And then we've got the EVH 15 plus the dual 15 subwoofer. So
which sound great.
Come in different horn patterns, different finishes, all sorts of things there. Probably the most exciting thing for me is actually the new waveguide. I don't know if you want to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So constant directivity is literally goes back to an Electro Voice patent from the middle of the previous century, right?
Okay.
So we've got a ton of history with, hey, we need to make the high frequencies sound, we need to get the same experience to people who are kind of there with respect to the loudspeaker and over there, right? We're not just kind of tuning for one sweet spot. So what we did is, obviously tools, computation modeling has all gotten super advanced compared to when we designed the last horns 18 years ago. And we've got some of the best acoustic engineers we've had in the 50 years of the last 50 years of the company. So all the new waveguides are also from scratch. And we've got waveguides anywhere from 60 by 40 super narrow out to 120 by 60.
Oh, wow.
And if you look at kind of the plots of how those are, they're super consistent, literally the entire frequency spectrum. The reason that we're now calling them infinite directivity and not constant directivity is this horn actually controls directivity beyond the frequencies we're even putting through it.
Oh, wow.
So it means that the architecture itself is never the limitation. It's more consistent than we need it to be, which means that it's always doing exactly what we need it to
So that's how you're getting an even response out of these wide patterns.
Exactly, right? And so, the line we're using in the demo room is like, for every one person that's in front of the loudspeaker, there's hundreds out to the sides.
Yeah.
And they are all paying the same ticket price, right?
That's right.
So that's kind of what we designed these for. This is really like, as good activity as like what's in our top tier stadium boxes, like an MTS, the like really big stuff. But now we're bringing it into what is essentially kind of our mid tier price points. And directivity has kind of always been a core obsession of Electro Voice, and that kind of consistency. And this is really kind of pushing the bar even higher.
It's one of the big obstacles of well performing audio products is like you're fighting physics to a degree.
You are always fighting. Like I feel like I fight coworkers, I fight supply chain, but like when we're in the middle of designing a speaker, like you literally feel like you're in a fight with like.
And like you can really, my favorite thing about it is like you can really nail something, find a design that works, and you're like, this is awesome, this sounds great, it's doing what we need it to do, and to your point. And then I walked over to the cupboard to grab a cup of coffee or whatever, and all of a sudden I noticed it's totally different over here, and now my frequency response is super muddy, and those types of things. So that's a battle. That's a tough battle that speaker manufacturers are always dealing with. So that's really cool. Did you say 120 by 60?
Yeah.
That's pretty serious. That's like a wide throw, man.
Yeah, so on the 12, we have that 120 by 60, so that's a great tool in the toolbox to have.
Yeah.
And obviously being familiar with the former line, it's a great little tool to have, but the biggest improvement, I think, is actually the coverage control there, and actually the voicing of the loudspeaker does have a unique waveguide for the 120 by 60, but it's a great wide tool to have in the toolbox. And actually in the demo room, we have a single box just to kind of have folks walk the pattern.
Yeah, so you can feel the whole range of it.
Yeah. And there's, we have some older 120 degree boxes. There's 120 degree boxes all over the market. And what we found is like there's some section of the audio spectrum that it's 120.
Yeah,
everything else is a little bit different.
Yeah,
and this is like from 1K to 19K, you've got like a true 120, right? And so like especially with like human voice, like that's one of the other things of like, oh, well, like what's the EV sound, right? And I always tell people it's like both a male and a female vocal are just nailed, like they're dead center, they're like right in your face. And so what we want to be able to keep that character and have it sound natural and open and human
across that range.
Any time that you're in that coverage pattern.
That's the thing, man. I mean, I feel like a lot of 120 speakers I've heard, just not very uniform across the pattern. It's a tall order.
Exactly. It's a huge challenge.
Yeah. You guys had there was a best in show tag I saw. Was it speaker related, electronics? Who can tell me a little bit about that?
Someday I'll get a best of show, but that's actually from someone else on our team. So actually Rob had a hand in that one.
Can you tell us a little bit about
Sure. So obviously aside from the boxes, you go to the audio demo room to experience the loudspeakers, so that's kind of the focus. But
but there's tons of amplification and processing happening.
Yeah, you can't drive any of Joe's passive boxes without any electronics.
Exactly.
Hamster wheels, all that kind of stuff.
Everybody's important here, okay?
Yeah. So obviously looking at system solutions, and we've definitely been doing that with a portfolio over the past couple of years. So in particular with the new EVF and EVHD2 boxes, they were actually co-developed along the IX series of multi-channel DSP amplifiers. So kind of mid-power amplifiers ranging from 1.5 kilowatts of power tank, which is essentially a big reservoir you could share, up to
it's like 6
kilowatts.
Yeah
that's what I was thinking.
4 and 8 channels, so we got 5 models in the range. Pairs perfectly with that, so that's what we have driving the entire demo room. And there's also an integrated DSP matrix mixer actually on board, which is unique. So for those small and mid-sized applications, it fits. So that's what we have kind of driving the entire system in the demo room throughout the show this week. But what we actually won the award on is actually the new V-Series Zone Audio platform. So
cool. I know I saw tons of updates. And additional things happening with that platform.
Yeah, so in terms of our portfolio, it's a great complement to the commercial portfolio, particularly like the EVID portfolio. So the VZX8 is kind of the heart and soul of it. That's our processor, essentially 20 process inputs, 8 zone outputs. And probably the most powerful piece is the VZX web app.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit new. So we started shipping that product back in December, and then we've got other parts of the portfolio there. We've got amplifiers within the range. We've got some wall panels, and as well as a call station for paging.
There's a little controller wall panel. I use this platform a lot for it seems to tend to be in like, you know, I don't want low budget, budget focused projects for hospitality.
Yeah.
All the time. I mean, bowling alleys, sports bars, things like that. Not like a full. I feel like every bar has to have some degree of like audio and video in there.
Yeah.
But a lot of these owners are not trying to necessarily compete with like a Buffalo Wild Wings or whatever. Pick your sports bar.
Yep. And they're also not trying to like learn audio DSP
That's right.
programming.
Yeah, right.
So like V Series is incredible for that, where it's like there's there's some of our hardware where it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna want to do the training for this, make sure I do it right. And V Series is built for like, I pull up a web browser and it's like, oh, you can figure this out. I know what the fader does. I know what the blinky light does.
Yeah.
Everything is kind of labeled for like someone who's kind of needs their handheld through it, and is really helpful at that. And it seems like the show timing worked out perfect. So when we launched it, we had like a whole host of features already in the bag for like day 2.
Okay.
And day 2 was opening day of the show essentially. So 2.0 firmware dropped. We added a whole host of stuff just in time to get Best of Show award and everything, and kind of show that off. So, like, for especially for these small things, there's like scheduling built in now and events and all these things where now you can do a little bit of automation with it and kind of, make it kind of take care of itself and change for you and some of these other things. So.
It's very robust for the price point, especially.
Yeah.
In general, but especially for like the level of price that it's at. It checks a lot of boxes. And when I am signed up for every newsletter, everything from everybody, because I want to know about the updates. So when I saw the email, I was like, oh, cool, I should flip through this quick. And it kept going.
Yeah.
I was kind of waiting to hit the bottom of the email, and it was like more features, more features, more features. It's like, oh, you guys just like leveled up this whole platform.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's I feel a little bit bad for Andy, our product manager, who manages it, because like, Andy, just what are the highlights? And he's, no, all 13 of these things are the highlights, because like they're all really big deals. Like we think there are things that like literally there's some customers that these are all really crucial parts to like what makes their install tick
and what makes it work for them. There's not really like a 50,000 foot view on that. You have to get down into the weeds and like go through each thing to really understand how much you can leverage there.
Exactly.
Within that. You guys, Rob, Joe, I really appreciate you guys coming by. For the folks who aren't here at the show, we just send them to the website. Get in touch with your Midwich reps. Is there any place you guys would recommend, or that's the spot?
I mean, absolutely. Like, start with Midwich, and like they can help, especially like understand your application and kind of steer you where you need to go. Otherwise, for kind of all the stuff that obviously I'm passionate about, electrovoice.com, all the electronics.
On Dynacord.com.
Yep. 2 bookmark websites on my page. I have been doing business with the whole family for as long as I've been in the world, so 20 some years or whatever. And I love to see the lines continue to evolve. You guys are very much a company that like I'm projecting onto you now, so if this is an accurate, you can tell me. But it feels like everything is very intentional. It's not about just like trying to stay relevant in a market or catch up to a product segment or anything like that. So when there's news and updates, I'm always very excited to hear from you guys. I appreciate you guys stopping by AVonAir here to tell us about it. And I hope you guys have a great rest of the show. Thanks to everybody for joining us and giving us a little bit of your time. And we'll see you next time on AVonAir.
Thanks for having us.